Welcome back to AI Signal and Noise. It is Monday, and dude, we have an absolutely packed show for you today.
That is right. I am Morgan, and we are looking at everything from AI hackers to Apple's latest strategic moves.
I am Taylor, and the pace of AI right now is just completely blowing my mind. It feels like a new era every single week.
Always ready. Though I am bracing myself for whatever wild hype you are about to throw at me today. Let us get into it.
Okay, first up, I saw this crazy article on the Decoder. AI offensive cyber capabilities are apparently doubling every 6 months.
Wait, doubling? Like their ability to actually hack into systems and exploit vulnerabilities? That sounds highly concerning.
Dude, yes. Safety researchers found that since 2024, models like Opus 4.6 and GPT 5.3 codecs are just crushing it.
Hold on, GPT 5.3 codecs? So they are solving complex security tasks that would normally require a human expert?
Exactly. Tasks that used to take human experts about 3 hours are now being solved by AI in a fraction of the time.
But what does this mean for everyday cybersecurity? If offensive capabilities double every 5.7 months, defensive AI better keep up.
Right. It is like this crazy arms race. The AI can just spot the holes in the code so fast now.
I mean, it is impressive technically, but the malicious use cases here are terrifying. Anyone could potentially deploy a hacker bot.
Yeah, totally. But imagine the good side. White hat hackers using this to patch literally everything before the bad guys get in.
I suppose. But historically, offensive tech outpaces defensive implementation. We will really need to watch how these models are gated.
For sure. It is wild to think about. A literal AI cyber war happening right under our noses.
Let us just hope the safety researchers are sharing these findings with the right people before it gets out of hand.
Oh, absolutely. The study said the timeline for this growth is just compounding. It is like Moore's Law, but for hacking.
Right, and Moore's law eventually hit physical limits. I wonder what the ceiling is for AI vulnerability detection.
I do not even want to know what happens when it hits that ceiling. We might need AI just to protect our smart fridges.
A sobering thought. Moving from smart fridges to software development, what is our next story?
Okay, moving on. Dude, did you see the announcement about Devin, the first fully autonomous AI software engineer?
I did see that. Cognition Labs, right? But is it actually autonomous, or is it just a glorified autocomplete?
No, it is like totally autonomous. You give it a prompt and it plans the project, writes the code, and debugs it.
Wait, really? It handles the entire life cycle? I am skeptical. How does it deal with unexpected API changes or complex logic?
That is the crazy part. It actually has its own command line, code editor, and browser. It reads documentation on its own.
Oh, interesting. So if it hits an error, it just Googles the solution like a real developer would?
Exactly. It is so cool. It even resolved a bunch of real-world GitHub issues on its own in their benchmarks.
But benchmarks are often cherry-picked. I want to see how it performs inside a massive, messy legacy codebase.
Fair point, but dude, they showed it taking a job on Upwork, communicating with the client, and delivering the finished app.
Okay, that is actually a paradigm shift. If it can handle client communication and deployment, junior dev roles might be in trouble.
Yeah, it is wild, but they say it is meant to be a teammate, not a replacement, like a super-powered intern.
Companies always say that to soften the blow, but practically speaking, this could drastically reduce the headcount needed for engineering teams.
Totally. It is going to be fascinating to see how human devs adapt to working alongside an AI that never sleeps.
Agreed. We will need to redefine what it means to be a software engineer in the next couple of years.
For sure. I might need to learn how to manage AI agents instead of actually writing code myself.
That seems to be the direction the industry is heading. Project engineering is becoming project management.
So, speaking of tech giants shifting gears, there is a massive rumor going around. Apple is apparently in talks to build Google Gemini into the iPhone.
Wait, Apple partnering with Google for AI? That feels like a huge concession. Whatever happened to their own internal AI efforts?
Right, like they have been working on their own models, but I guess they are just too far behind right now.
That makes sense. Apple is usually cautious, but they cannot afford to miss the generative AI wave on the next iOS.
Exactly. And dude, imagine Gemini powering Siri. It would finally make Siri actually useful instead of just setting timers.
True. But what does this mean for privacy? Apple's whole brand is on-device processing and user data protection.
Oh, good point. From what I saw, they might use their own on-device models for basic stuff and Gemini for the cloud.
A hybrid approach that would let them maintain some privacy claims while still offering cutting-edge generative text and images.
Yeah, and Google pays Apple billions just to be the default search engine. This could be like the next evolution of that deal.
It is a massive win for Google, honestly. Getting Gemini onto billions of iPhones would instantly rival OpenAI's distribution.
Totally. But I wonder if OpenAI is also trying to get in on this. Imagine ChatGPT built natively into iOS.
I would not be surprised if Apple is playing them against each other to get the best licensing terms possible.
Dude, Apple always wins in the end. It is going to be so cool to see what they announce at WWDC this year.
Indeed. The smartphone AI wars are officially heating up, and the landscape is shifting faster than anyone predicted.
I just hope my battery life survives all this new AI processing. My phone already struggles to make it through the day.
A very practical concern. Cloud processing might save your battery, but it will definitely consume your data plan.
Okay, last big story for today. The European Union just officially passed the EU AI Act. It is like a huge deal.
Finally, they have been debating this for years. So what are the actual implications now that it is written into law?
So it takes a risk-based approach. Unacceptable risks, like social scoring, are banned, and high-risk AI gets super strict rules.
Right, but what about foundational models like GPT-4 or Gemini? How does the Act handle general-purpose AI systems?
Oh, they added rules for those too. They have to be transparent, respect copyright law, and share safety tests with regulators.
That copyright piece is going to be a massive headache for AI companies. They have been scraping the web for years.
Dude, exactly. The lawsuits are already flying, and now Europe is legally forcing them to show their homework.
I am curious to see if this stifles innovation in Europe or if it just becomes the global gold standard like GDPR.
Yeah, the Brussels effect. I think everyone will just comply globally because it is too hard to make separate models.
Probably, but compliance is expensive. This might inadvertently cement the dominance of big tech companies who can afford the legal teams.
Oh, wow. I did not even think about that. It could totally crush open source startups trying to compete.
Exactly. They did carve out some exceptions for open source, but the regulatory burden is still going to be very heavy.
Well, the fines are insane too, like up to 7% of global revenue if they break the rules.
7% is no joke. That is billions of dollars for companies like Microsoft or Google. They will definitely pay attention.
It is going to be wild to watch the enforcement of this. Like, who even audits an AI model that big?
That is the million-dollar question. Regulators will likely need to hire their own AI systems just to audit the commercial ones.
Man, what a crazy week for AI already, and it is only Monday. The pace is just never going to slow down.
It certainly seems that way. We covered everything from autonomous hackers and coders to global legislation and corporate alliances.
Seriously, it is a lot to process. But hey, we will keep breaking it down for you guys every single day.
We will keep tracking the signal through all this noise so you do not have to.
That is it for today. We will be back tomorrow with more AI news.